Welcome to the Deep Dive, where we extract the insights, ideas, and conversations that help drive growth and innovation. I'm Charlie.
And I'm Alex. We're both with Growth Axon.
Today, we're unpacking a case study that shows, I think, really clearly how a spectacular growth story can get, well, completely derailed, not by the market, but by friction from the inside.
We are diving deep into Away Travel, the direct-to-consumer luggage company. On the surface, it was this massive success story.
A breakthrough brand.
Right. Exactly. The marketing was ingenious. But just beneath that sleek, minimalist exterior, a really significant organizational culture crisis was brewing.
So that's the mission for this deep dive. We want to understand that disconnect. How did a company that built its entire message on inclusivity and, ethical travel, how did it end up fostering this cutthroat, toxic internal culture? And what can we all learn from that?
We've got sources detailing their meteoric rise, the public exposé that changed everything, and then the really chaotic leadership shifts that came after.
Okay, let's unpack this. To really get the collapse, you have to understand just how high they flew at the beginning. It was spectacular.
It really was. And the foundation was solid. The founders, Jen Rubio and Steph Corey, they weren't new to this space.
No, they met at Warby Parker, another huge millennial brand.
Exactly. So they knew the playbook. They saw this white space in the market where luggage was just dull, utilitarian. It was totally ripe for disruption.
And the market responded instantly. They launched in late 2015, and within just 1 year, 12 months, they hit $12 million in revenue.
That's incredible velocity. And they weren't just profitable. They were immediately getting major investment. A $2.5 million seed round, then an $8.5 million Series A right after.
So what was driving that? It was the product, right? They solved a real problem.
Well, yeah, they tackled what's often called the iron triangle.
Okay.
Basically, the idea that for luggage, you could only pick two of three things: cheap, convenient, or good. Away's genius was convincing everyone they could have all three.
That's true disruption, isn't it? They didn't just make a nicer version, they broke a fundamental trade-off.
Precisely. The product had that chic, minimalist look, but it was also packed with features you'd usually only find in luxury brands.
Right, but starting at what, $225?
Exactly. You had the 360-degree wheels, the wipe-down interior, the TSA-approved lock, and, of course, the big one.
The battery charger. Everyone was talking about the built-in removable battery.
And they backed it up with a 100-day trial. It just screamed confidence.
And the press loved it. I remember Vogue called it the perfect carry-on. Adweek named them a breakthrough brand.
And that external validation was so important because it reinforced the brand identity they were building.
Which was all about being more than just a luggage company.
Right. It was about democratizing travel, inclusivity, positive impact. They had partnerships with Global Giving, Peace Direct, the Trevor Project.
So they set this really high moral standard for themselves.
They did. Their whole message was, leave it better than we found it, which, sets incredibly high expectations for how you treat your own people.
And that's where the story takes a very sharp turn. It's the core of this deep dive, this monumental disconnect.
Yeah, while the product was all about sleek, reliable travel, the internal organization was, it was becoming dangerously unstable.
Okay, so let's get into it. The spectacular ascent gives way to a very public implosion. December 2019, less than 4 years in, the Verge drops this exposé.
And it just blew the lid off the entire operation.
What's so wild is how the toxicity was, built into their systems. Their communication system.
You're talking about Slack.
Yeah. The sources describe these really strict, almost punitive rules around it. No emails, no DMs, unless it was for something trivial, like getting coffee.
So all real business communication had to happen in public channels?
Ostensibly for transparency. But the effect was much, much darker. Employees called it Slack bullying.
Because if you made a mistake, the criticism was public. It was designed to maximize shame.
The sources have some shocking examples. Like the CEO, Steph Corey, publicly calling an account manager brain dead.
Brain dead, just wow. For a stenciling error. It wasn't just criticism, it was public humiliation.
And as part of this wider coercive culture of overwork, Corey was known for having a fanatical work ethic.
Staying in the office past 1 a.m.
And not just staying, but actively encouraging her direct reports to do the same.
And the manipulation was? It was subtle. Employees said her messages were often long and loving, but manipulative, using this, what the source called saccharine empowerment language.
Framing these unsustainable demands as, Team building challenging.
Exactly. It's a classic psychological tactic, and it trickled down.
Right, like that story about the customer experience manager, Zandy Passanen. She sent a message at 1 a.m.
With a picture of herself working in bed wearing a face mask.
Yeah, and telling her team to share pictures of themselves working from home, too. It's performative exhaustion, basically treated as a KPI.
And this is so crucial for any organization listening. This isn't just one bad boss. It's a systemic failure where the culture was weaponized to deny basic employee rights.
Specifically, paid time off. The PTO policy was just startling.
Corey literally told the customer support team she would deny PTO unless they could prove the career skill of accountability.
By answering random customer messages for 6 straight days.
Yes. And when people tried to take their pre-approved time off anyway, she shamed them for it publicly.
I remember the quote, something like, "If you choose to leave our customers hanging, you will have convinced me that this group does not embody Away's core values."
Framing vacation time as an act of betrayal, it's textbook guilt-based management.
And that external promise of inclusivity was just completely betrayed internally.
You mean the hashtag Hot Topics channel?
Yeah, a Slack channel created by LGBTQIA employees and employees of color as a safe space.
And when Corey found out about it,
She fired the members systematically.
the justification was that the channel itself was racist and discriminatory.
A former employee of color said, "That was jarring. 3 white people telling me I was racist. It just shows the profound misalignment."
It's hard to imagine how they function, but what's so interesting is how agile they could be when facing an external crisis. Which brings us to what we're calling the agility paradox.
Right, high external responsiveness that was only possible because of unsustainable internal pressure.
A perfect example was back in 2017. Airlines started banning lithium-ion batteries from cargo holds.
Which was an existential threat for them. The battery was their signature feature.
And their response was incredible. The leadership team coordinated this lightning-fast fix.
They fast-tracked a kit so existing batteries could be made removable. They contacted every single customer.
And they expedited a whole new product with an easily removable battery. It was a masterclass in crisis management.
Jen Rubio even said, "We had the passion. We knew how to push through it."
And that's the paradox. That same passion and dedication was being leveraged by a hypercritical management style that completely masked how fragile the company was on the inside.
A fragility that was brutally exposed by that Verge article. And the leadership changes that followed were just pure chaos.
It was. Corey first issues this public apology, says she was appalled by her own actions. 3 days later, she resigns.
But it didn't stick, did it?
No. They brought in Stuart Haselden, the former COO of Lululemon, as the new CEO.
Okay, that seems like a stabilizing move.
But then, almost immediately, Away's chief of human resources, Aaron Grau, quit.
Wow. If your company is in a culture crisis and the head of HR quits the moment you announce the fix.
It's a massive red flag. It signals a complete lack of confidence that the new structure was actually committed to reform.
And the chaos just kept going. January 2020, Corey unresigns. She tells the New York Times she won't give in to a Twitter mob.
So she and Haselden are co-CEOs for a while. Then she finally steps down for good in July after making some more public attacks on social media.
And then Haselden himself quits less than a year later, leaving Jen Rubio as interim CEO. I mean, that is organizational whiplash.
All while the pandemic is hitting and sales have dropped 90%. So Rubio's turnaround plan had to be about pure survival.
And part of that was a really interesting PR move, right, with the Pivot podcast.
It was brilliant, really. Hazelden bought the ad rights for an episode that was being critical of them. But instead of a normal ad, they described the concrete actions they were taking to fix things.
So they didn't deny the criticism, they reframed the conversation.
Exactly. It shifted the focus from the past toxicity to present accountability, a very sophisticated crisis management play.
And culturally, Rubio started making real changes. Gender-neutral parental leave, company-wide wellness days.
The kinds of things the brand should have had from the beginning. She also started doing regular check-ins with all employees to get feedback directly.
And made a point to never skip them, even if there's nothing to discuss.
A huge departure from the public Slack-shaming era.
So we've seen the rise, the fall, and this chaotic attempt at a turnaround. What does this all mean for the bigger picture of growth and ethical leadership?
Well, one of the first questions that came up, a really difficult one, was about a potential gender double standard.
Are female founders like Corey held to an impossibly high standard?
It's a key point commentators made. They brought up examples like Uber's Travis Kalanick. Uber had massive scandals, but Kalanick stayed on for 6 months after the story broke. Corey was out much faster.
Now, to be impartial here, the alleged offenses were different. Corey's was about verbal abuse and micromanagement. Kalanick's involved systemic harassment issues.
True, but the perception is complex. We see high-growth companies run by men, like Amazon or Netflix, and they're often just accepted as difficult places to work. It's seen as part of the price for that kind of scale.
And the question that raises is, was Away not given that same latitude because it was led by a woman and because the brand itself was built on this friendly, inclusive image?
I think that's the core insight. When you market yourself as ethically superior, your internal operations have to live up to that. If they don't, the fall is so much harder.
You're saying the product innovation and marketing, they can only get you so far. If the cultural foundation is unsound, it's all going to crumble.
Absolutely. The case forces you to ask if that hypercritical leadership is a feature of growth or if it's actually just a ticking time bomb.
Yeah. The energy they used to fix the external battery problem was immense, but they refused to fix the fractured internal structure until they were forced to.
Away's story is just this powerful reminder that culture isn't a soft skill. It's a hard, strategic driver of resilience and growth.
The system they built, the public shaming, the PTO denial, it was engineered to push people to their breaking point.
Irony is just, it's huge. The company was founded to fix a broken suitcase, but the biggest structural failure was the one they built themselves.
So our final provocative thought for you, the listener. The idea for Away came from a simple phone call after a suitcase broke. It was founded on identifying and solving a structural failure. We saw the chaos caused by the Slack bullying by silencing the hashtag Hot Topics channel. So here's the question. If the culture you build actively discourages honest feedback from your own team, how can you possibly expect to catch the next great idea or the next catastrophic mistake before it breaks the entire company?
That's the question every leader should be asking. Those internal feedback loops are everything.
Thank you for joining us on this Deep Dive. I'm Charlie.
And that was Alex.
We're happy to share these insights, ideas, and conversations that help drive growth and innovation. We represent Growth Axon, and we look forward to continuing this conversation. Thank you for tuning in, and please share your comments below. We'd love to hear your thoughts on what Away needs to do now to ensure long-term stability.